guys, welcome back to another episode of Black Sesame, an online platform dedicated to sharing the stories of Black people living in Taiwan, hailing from all across the diaspora. My name is Sydney and I will be your host for this episode. And to start, I'd like to introduce my lovely guest, hailing from the beautiful country of South Africa. We have Tshego and we also have Sazi. So welcome. Thank you guys for coming. Happy Sunday. How are you feeling? Good? You alright?
Well, I'm personally being really exhausted.
Oh no!
Day,
okay.
but I think I'll survive.
Good.
But I'm always tired.
You made it.
Always.
I'm happy you're here. That's great.
Yeah, it's been a good day so far, except that I was feeling a little bit tired this morning, and then I was out. The weather is good.
Yeah,
good.
It's hot today, isn't it?
Yeah.
Taiwan weather is really, it's intense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Yeah, well, thank you again for coming in. And like I said in my intro, you guys are from South Africa, but I actually don't know if I've ever asked you how long you've lived in Taiwan. So how long have you guys lived here?
Okay, so I've been here for 2 years.
2 years.
Going on my 3rd year.
Okay.
Yeah, I came here right in the beginning of lockdown.
Okay.
So I actually haven't even explored Taiwan that much because I came in and everything was like, straight
with COVID. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going on my 3rd year now.
3rd year. Okay, great. And what about you? How long have you lived here?
I came here on the summer of 2019, so I've been here for about 3 years now.
3 years. Okay.
And there was like a couple of months before the COVID pandemic started, but before the thing started, I didn't even do much exploring in Taiwan because I was just focusing on getting used to my surroundings and my school and my new neighborhood. I feel like Taipei alone was enough for me at the time to just focus on getting used to that.
Okay, great. And you guys are both teachers, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Have you enjoyed the teaching so far since you've been here? Has it been a journey?
I mean, for me, I'm very easygoing with kids and I'm obsessed with kids. So I think that's the only thing that's making it easy.
Okay.
Other than that, it's tricky.
Yeah, tricky. Tricky. That's good. That's safe. Tricky. Okay.
But it's been, it's kids.
It's good.
They're kids.
Yeah. Okay. And what age group do you teach?
I have different age groups. So I've got your 2-year-olds until 12.
Okay, so it's a pretty big age gap. Okay. Do you have a specific age group that you like to teach?
I prefer the 7-year-olds.
7-year-olds. Okay.
Because the babies are just too. I need to mother them and.
Yeah.
It's
a bit much.
Yeah.
You're not their mother.
Yeah. There's a lot of patience in it.
Yeah.
And with the 7-8-year-olds, they're they're fine to handle.
Yeah, a little more mature. They can speak better English.
12-year-olds are becoming teenagers, so it's like.
It's tricky, like you said. It's really tricky. Yeah. And what about
I teach 7th and 8th grade.
Oh, 7th and 8th. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like junior high age.
Junior high, that's where I'm at. And I did do a little bit of teaching in South Africa, but as a student in my training.
Okay.
And I can say that I've been doing a lot of comparing my experience in South Africa before I came here, and I find that kids are the same everywhere.
Okay.
Of course, it's gonna be hard with certain students that are not finding it easy, maybe with your teaching style or with the contents of the subjects. But overall, I feel like it's been not smooth sailing, but but nothing that I can say is too overwhelming.
Okay.
Yeah. I like teaching here.
Okay, good. That's great. And before you moved here, did you know anyone before you came, or did you come by yourself without knowing anyone who lived in Taiwan?
I actually did not know Taiwan exists.
Oh, you didn't know about it before you moved here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what happened is I was working at this other country that I choose not to mention ever.
Okay.
And when I went back home, I became Asia sick.
Yeah, okay.
So I started missing, how safe it is here, how easy it is to have a life and still be able to save and still be able to do a lot of certain activities.
Yeah.
And when I went back home, it was just more on a, got your salary to survive. So I started missing the food, the culture, the safety was my highest priority.
Okay.
So, and then I just started looking for jobs in Asia. I started and did a bit of research, and then I came across Taiwan, and then Yeah, and then that's when I applied, and
and here you are. Yay! Okay. And
that's from when I was doing my teacher training in South Africa. I always had it in mind that this is going to open like some opportunities elsewhere around the world where I can like be an ESL teacher.
Yeah.
And I've always seen that as something that is so attractive to me because I just believe that South Africa is just a small place, even though it's like a vast, big country.
Right.
But I've always like thought that the world outside of that is much bigger than I can ever imagine. So I've always wanted to like step out there and experience some other cultures and some other things. And for me, I knew a lot about Taiwan because I was a geography student. So I studied some of that during my college years. But I didn't know much about the culture.
Right.
Though I knew about it's like a tropical type of country with a lot of mountains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So initially I wanted to move to Korea, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And my friend and I were like applying, and my process was like delayed because of like a lot of paperwork, police clearance. South Africans didn't know. So because of that, I missed the deadline for turning in my papers, and then I was like, okay, I still want to go up there. And then I started to think about Taiwan, and that is when I started to connect with some people that were already living in Taiwan, South Africans, and so I felt like I already had like a feel or
like a small
connection with the
people.
Black community in Taiwan because they started to give me some pointers, what to do and how to speed up the process, because with Korea I didn't have any of that.
Right.
So, and long story short, I'm here now.
You're here, yeah, that's great. Yeah, on our last episode, we also talked about how, like, I didn't know anyone before I moved here. I didn't know anything about the Black community here, or the African community, or the Caribbean community, or anything like that. And I was saying how I'm so happy that I'm here now because I feel like I have friends from South Africa, friends from all across the diaspora, and it's really, really special.
So what made you come to Taiwan? Actually,
no, it's a good question. I came just through research. I really, really, really wanted to, I don't want to say escape, but get out of the United States for a certain period of time. And initially I looked at Europe, but the salaries in Europe for teaching are actually quite low, and the salaries for teaching in Asia are much higher. So I looked into China, I looked into South Korea, I looked into Japan, like most people do. But then when I thought about it, I was like, oh wait, let me kind of dig a little deeper, and I found Taiwan, and I did my research, I read lots of articles, I tried to watch as many YouTube videos and vlogs and things like that as I could, and it seemed like it was when it feels right, it just felt right. So like, you know what, it's subtropical, it's relatively inexpensive, it seems really safe, and the teaching salary looks right, and I just, you know what, I did it. I got a recruiter, she helped me find my job here, and that's how I came. So just through research, you know.
That's what I realized about coming to Taiwan, like in contrast with going to Korea, because I had to do a lot of like research and dig a little deeper to find information.
Right.
Whereas when I was looking at going elsewhere, like there was more information. So I felt like I had to be more proactive, join Facebook groups that helped me a lot to know people before I got here. And also to find recruiters, because there's not a lot here. But and if you do find them, they might be hesitant about dealing with somebody who's not in Taiwan yet. So that helped me a lot to find the right recruiter and the right group of people on like social media that I can talk to and give me some pointers.
Yeah, so you had a recruiter as well.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I did too. Did you have a recruiter?
I did when I first came.
When you first came. Okay, yeah. So recruiters, it's nice because it's and were your recruiters free of charge? Or did they charge?
Yeah, free.
Free. They work with you. Yeah. So it's a lot easier. Okay, great. And then now I kind of want to dive into your specific experiences about what it's like to be Black in Taiwan, because if you research what it's like to live in Taiwan as an expat or as a foreigner, you can find a bunch of information, but I feel like a lot of those people are probably white. And that's good for them, but we need our own thing, right? So as a Black woman, I'll start with you first. As a Black woman living in Taiwan, how do you feel? Do you feel safe? Do you like it here? Anything that you wish you knew before you came?
I I mean, for me, it's very. I feel like my experiences are always different from people because coming across a lot of, well, not a lot because I don't really come across a lot of black girl women in Taiwan. My experience has been, my braider was a black woman and she had a very totally different experience from me.
Right.
And we lived in the same place. So with her, she kept on, complaining about how she's getting like racial comments because that could be the thing with me. I don't really fully understand Chinese, so I might not know whenever I'm coming across racial comments or some sort of that. So she told me she got that a lot, and she moved back to her country. I think she was from the Caribbean or something.
Okay.
So with me, I don't know if it's because I don't understand the language fully, or simply because I don't really come across anything that will make me feel so uncomfortable as compared to stories that I've been hearing.
Right.
So for me, it's been really lovely. I have an amazing landlord. He does not know a single English word, but our relationship is just so amazing.
Yeah.
The aunties, the ayis, where I live are very nice. The 7-Eleven people are really nice. So I don't really have any
negative experiences.
Not really. I've never really had, except that I had an accident. That was probably the only negative thing I had. And with my accident, the lady came to my house. She, she paid for my medical bills. She bought me water. Water is a problem.
Wait, was it a scooter accident or a car accident?
She hit me with her scooter.
Oh, she hit you.
I remember that. So even with that, and it was very rare because my director said she didn't run away, especially as a foreigner. She didn't even speak English as well.
Right.
So even with that, she could have easily left. I mean, they would have seen her with the cameras and stuff. But even with that, I'd say that was probably the worst time I've had in Taiwan.
Right. And that was
even with that, it was an accident.
Yeah.
But I mean, with the driving here,
it's pretty wild. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I can't recall, unless they're just hiding face.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But I don't recall having to.
You're not really comfortable with racism every day. At least not in your face. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what we get? We get those at the lifts, which I wouldn't really say is racism because I have like white friends and they do that to them as well. Like when you're probably sitting next to the MRT and then they'd stand up and go elsewhere.
Sometimes,
and maybe in the lifts, then you get those who will not take the same.
The same one as you. Maybe they choose not to sit next to the MRT.
So maybe those things, if that's considered racism, then I don't know how, because they do it to.
It's very covert.
It's also that too.
Yes, it's not really in your face.
And then you get those ones that will come and say, "Oh, you live on the 5th floor," and then they press the button for you. I'm like,
yeah.
And you see, so I get those kind of people. So it's really difficult to tell how is my experience as a black woman in terms of that. In terms of safety, 100%. I've never been so safe in my life to an extent that there was a time when my dad was calling me and I had my phone on and it was like, I think it was 11.
Yeah.
And she's like, why are you walking on the street with your phone on at 11? Is that, are you okay? You don't want to come and get out? Come down, it's okay. It's So with the safety and all that, I think my experience has been pretty good here.
That's good. I'm glad. Yeah. And what about you? Do you feel safe as a black
Safety, I would give it like a 5-star.
Yeah, okay.
I feel very safe here, and I would say that there have been some glitches in terms of like culture and understanding behavior. Like, why do people act a certain way sometimes? Because I'm from a country where we are not very like closed off in terms of our personal space. Like, I don't mind sitting next to her on the MRT if I don't know her, and I don't mind saying hello to her on the streets when I see her. So when I came here, I always found it like very confusing as to why wouldn't they greet back? Why when I like say hello to like a colleague, maybe walking down the hallways and they don't, or maybe somebody changes seats on the MRT, and then I understood those things wrongly in the beginning, and I saw them as like minor aggressions, and then after some time I just realized that it's just a different culture sometimes. It's just a culture where you only speak to people that you know sometimes, and it's a culture where maybe they moved somewhere else because of like they want their personal space. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be anything.
Yeah, because I've seen it like on like Taiwanese on Taiwanese, not only like Taiwanese on foreigners. So after observing those things, I just realized that maybe my initial judgment was not the way I saw it. But are there any ignorant people in Taiwan? I would say definitely yes. If I were to say no to that question, it will like make my life here harder because that means I'm just expecting Taiwan to be perfect.
Right.
And with that comes a very harsh realization that it's not true, and then you become frustrated, and then you just lose it. So I've just come to realize that it's not a perfect place. Just like where I'm from, of course, it's gonna be like bad days, good days. There's gonna be people who are less than friendly, and there's gonna be like amazing people here. And luckily I have been exposed to just good and kind people more than anything else here in Taiwan. So
yeah,
I really
it's been the same
that.
for me. I haven't really, if there's been any racism, it was either something that I didn't notice, because maybe because I can't understand Chinese, or it was just so quick that I didn't notice it, or it hasn't happened, you know, so I've had the same experience.
Yeah.
And now what about, because you're both teachers, because sometimes I feel like I think that being a black teacher here is very special, because, you know, we're foreigners, so we get to kind of teach kids about, you know, our culture from our home country. But for some kids, we might be the first black teacher that they've ever had, or maybe they've seen a black person, but they've never really been like up close and personal with someone who looks like us before. So have you had any really positive or really negative experiences with any of your students, specifically because of the color of your skin? You? Me?
I can say that I have.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. I have too. Go ahead.
I can say that I have.
Yeah.
But most of the time when you're dealing with students, it's just so hard because they're so little, and I try my best not to take it very harshly, because I think of myself when I was 14. I said a lot of stupid things, and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't like judge them harshly, because that's my job as a teacher. It's not only to teach them like the subject content, but also to teach them like a lot of things that they might not have been able to have an opportunity to be taught at home, because this is like a new setting where I'm different and we're different, so that opens up a learning opportunity. So I've had like some comments that I wouldn't say they're ignorant, but I would say like they're childish.
What kind of comments? I mean, if you don't want to say don't have to, I'm just curious.
Okay, comments about my physical appearance.
Like negative comments?
Negative comments, yes.
But you're so fine.
Yeah. So comments about even if it's not me, but people who look like me.
Okay.
I feel like sometimes students get comfortable around you, that they forget that.
Right, they kind of cross that boundary.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Sometimes you teach a lesson. I like to keep it like very visual. Sometimes I show videos, and there's like some black people like to show that a lot. And sometimes you do get some comments that are less than what I want to hear.
Right.
And I'm like, wait.
Like
we're the same.
Right.
So sometimes that opens up a discussion in our class, and then we discuss about like why could these comments be unkind, and what is a better way of confronting these confusions when you meet somebody who looks different from you. And I feel like most of the time students get it. I feel like Taiwanese students are very teachable, and when they do get it, which happens most of the time, they become so remorseful.
Yeah.
And that's what I've realized. If not at the moment, I've had students from the previous year coming to me like, hey teacher, last year I made some comments, like, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so something like that has happened. So I just feel like, of course, maybe they might have heard some things outside of school, maybe adults saying it, and they feel like it's the norm and it's okay to say. And I feel like it's my job to step in and just
correct it and be teachable, right? Yeah. Okay. What about you, Sam?
I did. I mean, you know, with my students or maybe my campus, the kids are really taught to be respectful and kind.
Okay.
So most of the time they respect the teacher. And I think that's good because, you know, our school is full of people from everywhere. So they're really used to seeing dark-skinned people. They're used to seeing different shades. When you say that. And they're used to seeing white people. So they're they get exposed to that. But then they more than anything, they'd be curious, like, why, teacher, why do you
Yeah, like
why? And then with my preps, I feel like maybe it's a little bit too much. Well, which is not, but like I always prep using people from different.
Right.
So I never use Asian. I never use Asian people. I always use Indian. I always use, you know, colored. Which, you know, in South Africa is
mixed.
In
South Africa, colored means mixed people.
Yes.
Okay.
But then they would beg to differ because they don't like it when you say that, because there's a whole colored community. And when you start with the mixed thing, it becomes very political for them.
Okay, so don't
so
say
it's not coming from
color.
And then other than that, and then they'll see, like this other time I remember I prepped with an Indian, very dark Indian lady with like curly hair, and then one of the students like, oh my god, Tisha's so black, so ugly, and I was like, so is she black because she's ugly? And I'm like, but I'm black, and I've never heard you call me ugly. And she said, but you are not ugly. So, you know, I don't know, the way they measure the level of
like beauty and
and blackness is you know. But anyway, other than curiosity and that, there's recently a student who just came to our school. You can clearly tell that she wasn't raised in that environment. He said he doesn't want to listen to me because I'm black.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And then I said,
and how old is this student?
He's sick. He's a troubled child. He's
aren't they all?
He's I mean, he's mentally troubled.
Oh God.
He's got like a history of
he's 6 years old.
He's 6 years old. He's a new student actually. We just had him now when the school's reopened.
Okay.
So he's got like bad manners. He's really like, you can tell he's not our product. He wasn't really he's not taught to be kind and respectful to teachers. So I didn't take it personal, because when I got back from home, they told me that I must just watch out for this kid because he's not and I just tend to pick up that he just likes love from home. He's really like love from home. So I think that's the first time ever I came across somebody saying that I'm not going to listen to you because you're black. And then I try to understand, it's fine, but I don't want to understand what is your reason behind it. Try to explain with more logic. Don't say because I'm black. It does not make sense.
Right.
It's not a smart thing to say. So try and explain.
Try to explain it better. And be teachable.
And then and then I understand. So I think that was in my history of being with my school.
Like that's like the worst thing.
Or maybe the first, because our students are not, you know.
They're okay for the most part.
They're taught to respect.
Raised properly, and you know, especially if they start young, the staff tries to teach them from a young age, have manners, be respectful, this, that. So
he's the only one who's had a bit of a challenge.
That's pretty good. I mean, you said your age range is from 2 to 12, and this is really the first time, and you've only been here for almost 3 years. Like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm glad.
And it's not from my students, so wherever he's coming from.
He came from somewhere else and brought that in. So and I only wanted to ask because I don't know if I feel like I told a lot of other people this, but I think it was last fall, maybe like October, November of last year. I was teaching about diversity, and I was trying to explain a term, and the book we were reading had students from Africa, the Caribbean, Native Americans, Asia, and I got to this one student who, I think it was a little girl in the book, who had like dark black skin, and I heard someone say like, oh, she's so black, she's so ugly, and it was like the faintest little thing, and I was like, I know I didn't hear that in my classroom. It's not possible.
Not in my environment.
And then one of my students said, oh, teacher, why is she so black? Why are you so black? And I said, well, my parents are black, and that's why I'm black. We have black people in the U.S. and black people in Africa, black people in the Caribbean, black people everywhere, right? And then this one rude little boy, very rude, he said, oh, but I think your skin is so ugly. And it felt like in that moment, honestly, I wanted to cry a little bit, because this had been my baby, my student for like almost 2 years, and he said that to me. And I thought to myself, of course I corrected it, But I thought to myself, has this child been troublesome for these almost 2 years because I'm black and because he thinks that I have dark skin, so I'm not worthy of respect? Or like, where is this coming from? You know, it was really, it was hurtful.
Yeah, it was shocking too.
Yeah, obviously he was, 6 years old kid, but it's still just like, damn, like, is that how you really feel? You know, it was a shock. So yeah, I just wanted to, obviously for the most part, I think teaching is it's a pretty joyous experience overall, but there are some things that people should know about.
Yeah,
you know,
especially with a person
of our complexion, we're darker skinned, so you know, we might get, you know, comments from students that aren't the nicest.
Yeah, of course it's not safe to say that no matter what you look like in Taiwan, if you're a foreigner, everybody's treated the same.
Right.
There are some experiences that you're only gonna have because you are black.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's mostly gonna be good, but it could be better if you are not
black.
Yeah.
Right. And I was gonna say, have you ever had someone either take a photo of you without your consent, or have you had someone come up to you and say, "Oh, very beautiful"? I've had either of those experiences, because that happens to me. Not so much in Taipei. Usually when I travel outside of Taipei. But have you had that experience?
I did.
Okay.
I did. My first experience with that was when I was in this other country. I hated it because I was like the darkest. And it was so terrible. I couldn't even enjoy my meal.
Yeah.
And the most horrible thing about it is that it was a very small town. So they know me. They knew me like from the DD drivers to the whatever. They knew me. They know where you go. They know where you live. They know the places we go. There's so much you can go. And every single day when I walk in, it's like I'm walking on a red carpet moment with cameras waiting to flash. You could see like, and then at this other time I just lashed out at this old woman because I was like, you see me every single day and you keep taking pictures of me. Why? And then I'm sure they were like, she's going crazy. So I really like, I think in Taiwan it's very different. It's very they consent. They're
a little bit more. That's why I think Taiwan is it's a little softer sometimes.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's still like, are they taking a picture of me? You know, it's a little bit, it's shocking sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe it's because maybe when I'm out and about, I only focus on where I'm going or just focus on my own thing. But in all my 3 years here, I've never had somebody to ask to take a picture of me.
Really?
See a picture of me.
Yeah.
And I've seen like firsthand the videos you share that has happened to you, and I'm like, where do you want that?
Where am I going? Yeah. Interesting.
So I'm like, so I'm the lucky one that has never happened to me.
Lucky you.
Yeah. Maybe it's coming from a kind thing.
Yeah, probably.
Because sometimes for me it's women, but it's also men sometimes. But I don't know.
When my sister came to visit Taiwan, we were out and about at Chiang Kai-shek and that's the only time when they talked to her, not me. Can we take a picture of the two of you together? And you were, I think they were like Chinese tourists.
Oh, okay.
I think so, now looking back. Okay. So we all like posed for a group picture, but there was the only time that something like that has ever happened.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
Nothing else. Okay,
that happens to me quite often.
Yeah,
my nail lady, she loves to take pictures with me every time I do my nails. A lot of, Philippine, Vietnamese girls too at the train station. I get that quite often. And I like the approach because then I've had a worse approach of people just,
being like in your face.
I think it's because women, women sometimes wear like braids and like huge afros and hairstyles that are deemed like peculiar. So maybe that is why. Maybe that's the reason. Whereas I always keep it like short.
And have you ever had anyone try to touch your hair? Because even for men, like even though your haircut is short, it's still a different texture. So I feel like people still might be like, ooh, let me try to touch it.
Yeah.
You know.
That has happened, but not strangers. I think that would like freak me out.
Yeah.
Can I touch your hair? I've had students like try to touch it or ask me like, why is it so curly? Or sometimes when I'm like scratching my hair, I'll like single one out and they're like, whoa. Because I think like it's like this, it's so short. So when I pull it out, I'm like, it's as long as you're like, damn, and I'm like so surprised. You're like, then why does it always look so short?
Yeah.
And I have to explain the coiling and everything.
Okay.
And they're like so blown away.
Yeah.
And also when I like make new friends, there's always a conversation about hair and wanting to know what it feels like to touch my hair and stuff like that. But not strangers.
Not strangers. And what about you?
My students are they're confused every time I teach her your hair. So I'm always braided. I have my natural hair. I've got weaves. I've got wigs.
Yeah.
So every time I rock up with a new look, it's like, how do you do it? Is that magic? It blows their mind.
Yeah.
It blows their mind like crazy. How do you wash it? The braids.
Yeah, can you wash? I'm like, of course, you just shampoo.
Yeah, they get so cool.
You know, they get really confused.
And they touch it a lot. And then I think more of anything, because I know they're very respectful students, it's more out of curiosity. They love to play with my hair.
Yeah, they're curious.
I used to get like irritated at first, and I just realized that I know it's not really coming from
it's not coming from a hateful place.
It's just coming from my teacher always has this cool hair.
Yeah.
They usually say it, especially when I have braids. They go like, "Oh, teacher, your hair is so cool."
Yeah,
that's nice.
It's coming from a good place.
Yeah, they touch it a lot though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Even with my students, I tell them, I said, do not. If it's like the little like yo-yo on babies or yourself, they say, oh wow, I'm like, like the babies, I say okay, but like my students or kids that are older, I'm like, absolutely not. I just got this done 8 days ago. This is fresh. I paid my $3,000 whatever. Like, don't touch it. But yeah, I just wanted to ask, because I know that hair in the Black community, regardless of if you're Black American, Black African, Black as Black people, it's a really big part of our culture as a whole. And when I first moved here, when we met, right, my hair was really short, like we said before. I was,
no hair.
I was bald. And so I said, I cut it because, I wasn't sure if anybody would be able to do my hair here. And now I'm happy with, there's braiders in Taiwan, there's braiders up here in Taipei. So when you moved here, were you at all concerned, like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to find my hair care products, I'm not going to be able to find a barber? Was that a concern for you at all when you moved to Taiwan?
I mean, not really, because I can braid my own hair. I'm not really good with it, so I had backup. I brought hair from home because I didn't know if I'd be able to order, extensions. Yeah. And I have wigs, so I know those are my backup. Because maintaining my hair for me is really difficult. Yeah. I struggle to, keep it all looking. I can handle it for a little while before the, knotting every night when you're having to sleep. Right. And I already have experience, living abroad and not having.
That's right. Yeah,
so I have a lot of South African products. Okay. I have a lot of products that can pull me through the whole year. Because usually when I travel abroad, it's for a year. So with me, I wasn't really that.
You weren't too stressed about it. Okay.
Because I can.
You can do your own
around.
Okay.
And otherwise, if I not always have wigs. To help me through those days that I, don't feel like my braids are professional.
Okay.
Yeah, when I first came here, I thought that maybe just cutting hair is not too big of a deal. Yeah. Because as long as you have a clipper and you're like a barber, you can cut hair. What's the big deal? Yeah. And then I went to this $150 Taiwanese barbershop, and the guy was like, oh yeah, he gave me so much confidence. He was like, I can do it. I used to live in New York.
Okay. Yeah.
And then he did things to he did the unspeakable.
Unspeakable.
My hairline was
Was it pushed back?
Pushed back, and I already had a huge forehead. And my students was so surprised by that. And then back here I had a serious razor burn. I feel like whenever I go to a black barber, they know not to touch the back of my head with anything too sharp. Yeah. Because something about that part of the hair makes it more prone to razor burn and ingrown hairs. Yeah. And also this area over here, but he didn't know that, and I was just sitting there in horror. I don't know, there's something about when somebody is cutting your hair, you are not very reactive.
You just take it
you just take it
coming out right. So I'm gonna just sit here.
So I'm just sitting there being subjected to this razor, and afterwards I knew that the bumps were coming, and it looked like ostrich, like a possum. Lasted for like a month, and then after that I bought a clipper and I just buzzed it off like both.
Okay, so you like start from scratch.
Yeah, like my first 8 months in Taiwan, I was just keeping a bold, clean hair. So that's the thing, so I think I would like it like that. And then I found...
You're laughing when you're so serious. Oh my goodness, I only know you was like the hair on the top. I don't know if it was like a bald head.
I had like a bald head, I was rocking it. And I found a barber and it's been smooth sailing ever since.
Okay, is it a Taiwanese barber?
No, it's not a Taiwanese, definitely.
Is it a black barber?
Yeah, it is.
See? Okay, yeah.
We go to the same place where you get your hair braided and I get barbed at the same shop.
Well, I go to Taichung.
Oh, okay.
So you're in Taipei.
Oh, but I know that the coverage
in Huilong. You go Huilong.
In Huilong or somewhere near Yuanshan.
Okay, and then it's probably my same guy. I feel like black people, I feel like if you live in northern Taiwan, even central to north, you probably go to one of two places. So that's why I'm glad we're having the conversation. Like, yes, you can have your horror stories, but you can redeem, you can be redeemed as well. And we will hook you up. Like, we're here, so don't worry about it. Okay.
I would love to see that.
I'll show you pictures. I was like old and like...
I can't picture, but I'm glad that you found somebody and it was corrected and you're all good now. So you went through something, but then you bounced back, so it's okay.
I survived.
Oh, you survived. Yes, amen. You survived. And now, how was your Chinese? And did you guys speak Chinese, Mandarin? Are you fluent, conversational? Okay.
It's pretty good.
All right.
We've got Taiwanese friends.
Yeah.
They always gossip about me in Chinese, and I'm like, I can pick up like few words, but they always when they want to say something nasty, they don't Mandarin.
But your Mandarin's pretty good.
Yeah, I can say that I've learned some survival Chinese. I can get around and gossip about Tshego in my prison. So.
Okay.
But there's still. There's still a lot of things that I still cannot do by myself, and I feel like that goes for a lot of foreigners here.
Yeah.
I feel like there's always going to be a certain level of being dependent on friends who can speak Chinese on certain things.
Yeah.
For example, I can like buy things, go to definitely not the bank because I don't know any bank jargon. I can ask for prices, directions, things like that, but there's some stuff that I do still need help with. And I feel like I have achieved most of my objectives for learning Chinese, which is to like be able to communicate basic things. And to learning.
So you're like conversational.
Yeah, conversational.
And did you take lessons to learn? Like you had a tutor, or did you just kind of teach yourself how to?
Oh yeah, I have a 9-to-5 job, so I'm limited in terms of like how much time I have at my disposal for Chinese classes.
Right.
So normally I just take an hour of Chinese class every Saturday morning.
Okay.
And that's been about it. And a lot of it is just friends, like talking to them, and then they tell me random things. Normally like the funny stuff and the weird stuff sticks more to my memory than other stuff. Yeah. So I feel like I've learned more Chinese from my friends. Maybe not more, but as much as I've learned in my touring sessions.
Class. Yeah. Okay, great. And this kind of segues nicely into the next thing that I want to talk about, which is dating. Dating in Taiwan. I don't know. I'm sure we've all had stories. Horror stories, positive stories, I'm not really sure, but but do you feel like maybe if your Chinese was a little bit better, or if you were conversational, do you think that you would have an easier time like dating here, or do you think that the language isn't really a big deal? Not so much, so you can go without it?
I mean, you gotta know how to speak a bit of English.
Yeah.
For me, because I'm.
Oh, so if a guy wants to get with you, he has to know some English.
Yeah.
But is the reverse true where like if you demand that you know Chinese?
I mean, for me, I'm also trying to learn. I have a private tutor. Lessons for Chinese, but for me, it's not really like much of a problem as long as we can communicate. I think that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so it hasn't really been a bad...
It hasn't impeded your dating life in any way with the language barrier. Okay.
Not that much.
Okay, that's good. And you're conversational, so you're probably fine when it comes to like dating and stuff.
So when it comes to, I don't know, I'm the same as Tshego. I do prefer somebody who can speak at least some English, and I'm gonna meet you halfway.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you don't speak any English at all, it's gonna be like a really bumpy ride because I can communicate just day-to-day stuff, but when it comes to like more deeper conversations and getting to know the way I think, the way you think, and less shallow type of convos, I feel like that is when you really need to be able to understand each other's language. And I feel like I'll do my part, and I always hope that the person can speak some English as well.
Right. Okay. And again, when it comes to dating, do you ever feel like, because I don't know, do you guys mainly date foreigners? Do you mainly date Taiwanese? Is it a mix of both for the most part when it comes to the dating, like half and half, or is it mainly one over the other?
I just...
Whoever.
For me, I don't
only Taiwanese for the most part. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, I don't really like seek out like foreigners. Like,
you don't seek out foreigners.
Yeah, I'm on like a hunt for foreigners, like the 5 foreigners in Taiwan.
Okay.
But if that were the case, I'd become very like limited. Yeah. So I feel like I just take people as they come. Whoever you are, wherever you're from, as long as we vibe, that is
then
okay.
It's cool.
I think. Yeah.
Okay.
But in Taiwan, that happens to be more Taiwanese people than anything else because of the demographics of the country.
Right, right. So you would think naturally.
Yeah.
But I think I told you guys, for me, the first, I'm going to try to word this carefully, but my first involvement with a Taiwanese man was just recently, this summer. Still continuing. But I'm saying, like, and I've been here for 2.5 years, and it's like, oh my gosh, my first Taiwanese king came to me just recently, and I was living here 2.5 years. So I'm thinking, but as a black woman, I'm thinking, okay, am I not really getting any Taiwanese play because maybe I'm really tall, right? I am 5'9.5", which is like about 177 centimeters. I've got on my heeled boots today, so I'm much taller. Where I'm taller. Most of the time I was living here, I had short hair. So with some men, maybe think, oh, short hair is a little too masculine, or maybe she's too dark, maybe she's too tall. So do you ever worry about how maybe, like your skin color or whatever features you have might impact your dating over here?
I mean, for me, it's very weird because my Taiwanese guy approached me on the streets. First of all, they're known to be very shy people, right?
Really shy.
Yeah, I was coming back from the gym, looking all crusty, sweaty, all the bad things you can think of a person not to approach me. So it literally came and he hit on me. First of all, I heard that Taiwanese guys don't do that because they're not brave enough, they're not...
they're shy.
Because when he did that first, I thought he was trying to practice his English because his English is not really good, but it's good enough. And then I was like, oh wait, are you hitting on me? He started asking me, all these questions, and he says, you're really beautiful, I love your hair. I had braids.
Yeah.
And he said, I love your hair. And I said, okay, I think he's hitting on me. And I was like, thank you. He's like, oh, can I have your number? And he's like, are you single? I'm like, okay, you're very forward, but okay. So for me, it was really weird, and I was like, and then I got to know him and try to find out, have you like traveled abroad? Not really. He's been around Asian countries, which is also weird. But then how do you know when to compliment braids? Because you're gonna see this in probably.
Did he know that they were braids? Did he know like?
I don't know, cause
he liked braids.
Yeah, I think he knew, man. I think so. And
has he dated black
people? He did.
Oh, see, well.
And then he was just different approach. And actually, he wanted to marry the girl, and then the girl ended up going back to her home country. So he had trust issues.
We talked.
We did. He had trust issues with foreigners because it's like, then the next one.
You never know when. Right. That's why I think dating here is a little. It's tricky.
It's tricky because like you don't have. Yeah, you've got some experience, but like you're not traveled well enough to know the African culture, to know, to know how to handle African women, because like we're pretty much different compared to, Taiwanese girls in terms of everything, in terms of the way we're very vocal about our feelings, in terms of, what we want. We're very vocal. I believe we're very vocal people, and we do things differently. We were raised differently.
Right. Yeah, it was a cultural.
So it wasn't really a problem.
Okay.
In my case.
In your case.
2 years later, still not a problem.
Yeah. I mean, hey,
yes, I'm good.
There we go.
I do agree with you guys that there's some problems that black women might face in Taiwan in terms of how they look, and I cannot say I've had some people being very rude per se to me, but I have had people like having certain ideas about me before we even meet.
Right.
You are all these things, and if you're not, then what are you? So I've had things like that, and sometimes people don't understand why that might be wrong. That I'm an individual, we're not a monolith. Black people are so different, and each person is different from the next. So sometimes I encounter a lot of that. I know who you are, and I'm gonna like you for that, and then I find out that might not be the case sometimes, and sometimes that might not end very well sometimes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad we're talking about this, because the dating is very, it's I don't know, it's different. When you're home, it's one, you're used to it, in your home country, you know what to expect, but here, I'm like, all right. I'm like, this guy's trying to, and sometimes, the Taiwanese, they're so nice.
They don't know.
Yeah, this cute boy in Jason's, and I was checking in about how I really wanted this and whatever, and he was so sweet and so nice, and I'm like, oh, is he being nice because he's trying to hit on me, or is he just really nice? I can't tell, because they're so nice here. They're very nice. Sometimes like Western guys, Americans, the Africans, I love my African friends. The African men, what can I say? That's all I will say. But I'm glad we're talking about it, because I think people should. I think they think, oh yeah, it's fun. I bag all these people when I'm at home, but you're coming to it. It's different. It's different.
Yeah.
The beauty standards are different.
Yeah.
What they like in a woman or a man is different.
I think it's just exposure, because a lot of times here the media only shows you like only certain types of people.
Right.
Even when it's like outsiders, it's mostly just a certain type of foreigner, and sometimes when people actually get to expose to people who look like you, and then they realize that, oh, I actually like this, and I actually like people who look like this, and I've never seen much of that.
Yeah. Okay. And I know you both said this, so you've been here almost 3 years. You also
going on my third year.
Going on your third year, right? So how long do you think you guys are going to stay in Taiwan?
I think I'm staying here indefinitely so far.
Yeah.
I haven't made any concrete decision as like this, by this date I'll be gone.
Right.
But I'm just taking it a year at a time, and I do have some future endeavors that I hope to be involved in back home, and if they require me to be over there in the future, then I might go back home, and if I can do those things while I'm here, then that will be even better.
Okay. How about you? How long do you think is?
I mean, I haven't thought of leaving. So.
Oh, is he okay? You haven't. It's been so positive that you're like, yeah, I'm happy where I am.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. But I think that's for a lot of us. I think that's kind of been our experience. Taiwan is a really nice place.
It is.
Okay.
I didn't think of it yet.
You haven't thought of it yet. Okay. And since you are both teachers, if there is one piece of advice you could give to Black teachers who are looking to come over here to teach really any age group of students, what do you think that piece of advice would be?
You gotta be patient with kids, because they're kids. They can really be rude. They can test you to your limits. And some are raised so badly. Well, not so badly, but some are not raised the same. You get some who will definitely be respectful, like whether you're black, white, blue, green, and you just get some of those. So if you want to come here and teach, you got to have the patience for it. And you got to understand that Taiwan is like based on work. It's like a working environment. It's more work. So you don't come here with the mindset that I want to travel, I want to do this. Chances are you might have limited time to do that because of, you know, the work culture. And I think it's probably Asia as a whole. Yeah. Because back home we have like 2 months vacation.
What, like
every semester?
Every semester.
Yeah, every semester there's a holiday. Like,
wow.
School ends at 2 p.m. We don't have these 8 o'clock. Yeah, so we get like long holidays every time. Okay. So be prepared to work and get like Chinese New Year the longest, which is the shortest in South Africa, because the shortest is like, I think now, week 2. Yeah. So that you should be mentally prepared for. Right now the borders are opening and stuff, so I think it's good. But otherwise, just prepare yourself mentally to be patient with the kids. I think more than anything is just patience, because they can be rude, they can be, you know, say unkind things. They can. So yeah. Okay. Best part about it is the salaries are good. You can enjoy your life. You can save. You can, you know, do some of the things that you were not able to do.
Right back home.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I would advise, especially if you're coming from a high unemployment rate country like myself, I would encourage them more, because I know traveling is not for everybody. You know, we like to speak of it so easy because we love to do it, but not everybody can leave their lives behind. It's not an easy. But I would highly recommend and advise them to just get out of their comfort zone a little bit. Go make money and you can always go back home. There's no place like home. So I really understand how they're feeling, but sometimes, you know, there's so much more the world has to offer. And you can try. You can just, you know, be versatile and come. It's nice. It's fun. It's really fun teaching kids. It's funny.
Yeah, they crack me up.
They've got stories.
They crack me up. Teacher, you have baby? I'm looking like, you are my baby. You 15, that's all I need. And what about your advice for teachers?
All I can say is that I feel like Taiwan is a very good place to teach and work, and I would recommend it to anybody who's looking to teach and work in Asia, because I'm looking at elsewhere on this continent, and I'm like, I feel very lucky that I ended up here, because I don't think I would have been happier somewhere else than where I am right now. So I would definitely recommend Taiwan over any other country in Asia, because it's the salary and the people here and the type of students here, for the most part, they're like willing and ready to learn, and they respect teachers, and I feel like you're mostly going to have a good experience. So that's how I feel.
You both have positive reviews of teaching. That's good. And then what has been, I think after this we can kind of wrap it, but what has been your most positive experience so far living in Taiwan, if you can think of one? Whether it's in school or with friends or with just day-to-day life, what's one of the most positive things that you've experienced so far?
Being able to save and party every weekend.
Be able to save and party every weekend.
Yeah, that's very good. Money saved.
Yeah. So the financial benefits are good. Okay. The financial. Okay.
Yeah, for me it has been to be able to start to learn a new language, and I feel like that has been very fun for me. I enjoy like learning Chinese and looking up songs and the meaning and stuff. And I would say that I've had a really good experience with the friends that I have here, and I know I would never have otherwise had an opportunity to meet if I never came here. So I'm feeling like we met here with our friendship is one of those things that make me happy that I'm here, and along with everybody else that I know here in Taiwan. So it's been mostly just the culture, the people, my circle, and things like that.
And I know that you, off camera, mentioned that you're moving to Taichung, so congratulations, new city, new job, new apartment. Are you excited?
I'm very excited. I was there yesterday. and it's just a different environment.
Yeah.
So it feels like I'm moving to another country.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know how to expect. I haven't really been there that much.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited to see
Taiwan was nice. I think you're right.
the environment, the people, even a bigger school with more foreigners. Apparently we have like 20
Oh wow, okay, that's
per
great.
campus.
Okay.
That's a lot.
So more
And a lot.
diverse.
So very, very, even better.
Yeah.
And it's a very, creative school. I'm going to be able to do what I'm passionate about. Really.
Yeah.
So we're doing more of the videography, the
Okay.
photography,
Great.
the YouTube part of it.
Yeah.
My skills will be not only teaching English, but making use of my skills. So I'm
Okay.
pretty excited for that.
Great, well congratulations.
Thank you.
Yay. Talk to the queen. Well, thank you very much for being on my second episode. I appreciate your time. God bless South Africa for bringing you guys to Taiwan. Thank you so much for being on the show and sharing your experiences with me. I really appreciate it. I learned a lot. I feel like I've known you guys for a bit now.
Yeah.
I didn't know all that. I didn't know all that. So thank you for sharing. And thank you to all of you for joining us on our second episode of Black Sesame. We will see you next time. And goodbye. That's it.
Just get ready to read it.
Yeah, that's it.